Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Sales Manager Academy podcast. As always, I'm your host Omar, and today we're going to be talking about something that's been popping up lately, and I've been talking with and coaching through quite a few people on it. And this is the importance of understanding pay plans. Okay, you're a leader, you're a sales leader. The purpose for you being in the role is to help drive sales. Okay, it's to increase the productivity, but more importantly, it's to prolong the people that you have in their roles. Okay, what I mean by that is you're there to try to keep people there as long as possible, right? We don't want to churn and burn. We don't want to go through, 6 to 8 weeks of trying to find somebody only for them to leave within, 30, 60 days. That's not the reason why we're here. It's not, oh, well, they're not cutting it by, 45, 60 days. The question that you need to go back to is how much training have I been giving these people? How much focus and attention have I been delivering, right? Or as an organization, have we been giving the people coming into these roles? If you can't look in the mirror and say, yes, we have been giving them all the training and development that they need within the first 90 days, okay? You got to remember, a person doesn't become at least decent in the role until the 90th day, and that's with training and development because there is a learning curve. I don't care how much experience you have. Every organization runs differently. There's different processes that they have on the back end, and it does take time to be able to learn that. Okay, and when you don't, that's when you're running into roadblocks that cause unneeded issues that ends up affecting the cells. Okay, the performance, the KPIs. And one of the biggest ones for that, and I'll share this story with you, is pay plans. Not understanding pay plans. Okay. Uh, Recently, I've been talking with somebody who has been within an organization for the better part of over a year. Okay. Uh, and I was going over a pay plan commission calculator that I created to give people an idea of how to be able to process what the numbers mean from the pay plan into actual realistic numbers that they could potentially make. Okay. And when I showed them that, and I showed them the difference between barely missing quota and attaining quota, their eyes popped up because it was almost a 50% difference in how much they lost. Okay. I want you to think about that. They thought, okay, well, I'm still making good money. And then they realized, oh shit, I'm losing more than 50% of what I could potentially make by being stagnant, by not pushing and trying to understand what I'm trying to make. And the sad part is that this is also a leader. So if they don't understand the pay plan, how well do you think their employees, their salespeople understand the fucking pay plan? That's the point. They don't understand it as a leader, okay? As a store manager, as an assistant manager, doesn't matter. It's a leadership position. If they don't understand it, their people don't understand it. And when their people don't understand it, they don't know what to hit. Yes, you're giving them fucking monthly goals, but they don't know what that actually translates to money wise. You guys forget. You guys think I just got to give them this magic number to hit, and that's all they got to hit, and then they're just going to keep getting it. That is not how shit works. They're there at a job to make money. When they don't understand how much they can actually make, and you're giving them a quota, it doesn't correlate to them. Okay? You're literally talking a foreign language to them. You understand it because you've been doing it for such a long time. It's like in nature to you. They don't understand it. So it's taking them fucking forever. And when they don't even have the legend, they don't have the key, they don't know how to be able to transcribe those numbers from the pay plan into a real actual income. But you're going to be like, Omar, but they could just do the math. Be for real. We know in this fucking country, people are terrible at math. We should be fucking great because, everything in our fucking life in America revolves around goddamn money, right? So you would think at the very least people would be good, decent when it comes to money. But you guys know that's not the case. Because if it was, there wouldn't be so much debt going around. Okay, people wouldn't be drowning in debt. Okay, so There's other topics that I'm not going to get into it, okay? But just to give you that fucking idea, your people don't understand the pay plan, and that leads to attainment issues. And when that leads to attainment issues, that creates unneeded pressure on the rest of the team and on you as an organization. Because think about it. Now, they don't really understand how much they're making. Yes, they know if I sell this, I could make this. But what does that mean? What if my goal is to make an extra $2,000, $3,000 through my commission, through my bonus? How do I make that? If you can't give them a fucking clear cut guide on what to focus on, especially when they're starting out, they're not going to know what to focus on, what to attain. You just tell them, keep your head down and just do this. But they don't understand why. You guys forget, your best salespeople understand the reason. They understand the why behind why they're doing things. So they keep pushing forward. Now, when they don't, all they're going to feel is pressure from the top. You guys got to perform. And you as a leader, regional, district, area, multi, it doesn't matter. Okay. You're going to feel that pressure if you guys aren't performing. You guys aren't performing. So what do you start pushing? You start telling people, just fucking add it. Just do it. Do whatever you need to do. Okay. You are saying that in no clear way. You're doing it super vaguely because you're like, you know what? I will deal with all the mess on the back end. Right? As long as we can get this. That's not how this works, guys. You as a leader cannot be in the gray when it comes to your team's performance. You need to have their back and show them a way forward so that they can truly attain what they're supposed to be hitting and make the money that they want to make. Because when they're making that within your organization, they're going to stay. And when they stay, they get much better. Especially after, yes, after that 90-day mark, you're going to see a bump in performance after the year mark. Okay, I want you to truly understand this. Your team gets profoundly better after those team members have hit the year mark. That is when the majority of them will be at about like 80% competence. But that, no, okay? You might think that an entry-level position is entry-level position, okay? Put yourself back in those positions. You try working it, and try working the fucking floor when the rest of your team has quit. And then tell me that your entry-level people don't matter. You need to be taking care of your team because as a leader, if you don't have a team, you will not have a position, okay? And when you're putting that pressure and not giving them the guidance on how to attain those goals, it demoralizes them. Their performance is going to go down. You might see a quick bump, okay, in numbers, but you know what you're also going to see? You're going to see a quick bump in churn on the back end, right? On DX, on returns, on canceled orders. Why? Because your team's not selling it correctly. So it's not sticking. Or customers are calling into, customer care departments or going back into your locations being like, what the hell is all this? This isn't anything I wanted. This is what I wanted over here, right? Why do I have this? This is extra. I didn't agree to this. And then shit starts getting returned. And you guys know, just like I do, when stuff has left and returns back, it is much harder to sell. And sometimes we can't even sell. We have to send it back. So we lose product. We lose availability. Okay. And that's money lost all around. And that's what you need to try to avoid. Now, that pressure of not knowing their pay plan and then not being trained and developed properly ends up creating bad selling habits, which create higher DX, which create higher returns, which create less foot traffic going to your location. You see how that correlates to each other? And on top of that, you know what also starts to happen? You start to lose headcount. Why? One, yes, you're performing worse, okay? So your headcount's going to go down because you have to actually accommodate for that. You have to compensate for the people you're there. So if the stores aren't performing, if locations aren't bringing in the revenue it's supposed to bring in, we can't afford to have the extra headcount. And then when we start losing people and start losing headcount and people start calling in sick, people start quitting, what's that happen? What is going to create that? What's going to create, okay, is going to create an environment where coverage is fucking impossible. You're having to pull people from different locations to try to help out to cover while you try to find somebody, and now you're under the pressure. Okay, you're under the gun to try to bring somebody on board. So now you're forced to bring somebody, and you bring somebody that shouldn't have been brought on because you don't have something in place to train them up. You don't have the time to develop them. So you just bring in a body, and it took you 4 to 8 weeks to find and bring that person in, get them past background, and then actually start. Yeah, some of them might be able to start next day. Others are going to need a week to 2 weeks to be able to start because they still have to give their notice before they can come on board. And then what does that do? You don't have anything to be able to train them up. So you bring them on board, you push them, you throw them on the field, right? Within a week or two of training, which teaches them nothing, with leaders that don't know how to train, guide, and develop them, and they're not performing, and they end up quitting within 30 days. Like, guys, it's just a cycle that keeps repeating. All for what? This is why it's important to focus on training and developing. Little things, guys, okay? Like I told you, understanding the pay plan goes such a freaking long way. Seeing that individual's face light up when I showed them the numbers and we put in, based on what they've been doing. If they just increase productivity, right? Focus a little bit more on closing stuff and instead of letting it walk out the door. You're talking about almost, 100% attainment on their commission that they've been making, right? Where they were making $1,500, $1,600 before, now they're actually on track to be able to make close to $3,000. That is the difference, okay? And it's not like they need a 20, 30, 40% bump. We're talking about maybe a 10% increase in what they've been doing. Why? Because they're focusing on the good metrics. They're actually working on their pitching. They're developing a sales process that works for them. And they're paying attention to what they're doing instead of just throwing spaghetti on the wall like they've been doing because they haven't understood how they get paid. And it goes back to training. It goes back to developing. But the biggest thing that you can do for your people, if you need to find a quick way to get performance to come up, is show them how they actually get paid. Show them how much they can actually make. Break the numbers down. And don't think that if I just do this once, boom, we're solid. They're going to understand what they can make. No. You need to make it a continual thing, especially when pay plan changes, when there's updates, okay? It doesn't have to be, the whole pay plan changed. Maybe there's an update, okay? Maybe something's going to get paid more. Maybe another item or a KPI is going to go down to kind of compensate that, right? In the wireless retail, you guys understand this because this happens to us. In the AV space, appliance space, furniture space, okay, your spiffs change with the products and the promotions that are going. It's understanding that. And it's not that difficult to really make a calculator, okay? Because I get it, right? If you're talking electronics, if you're talking AV space, if you're talking furniture, if you're talking appliances, but Omar, there's so many different. I get it, but you can also take a look and see what your most sold SKUs are, your most sold products. And you can build the calculator around that to give them an idea. Because they need to understand how they're actually getting compensated, how they're getting paid. Your people that are solid on their own are doing this on their own because they kind of figured it out, but they don't know how to share it. They don't know how they developed it. They just understand that, hey, this works for me and it gives me a better idea, so this is what I'm going to do. And I say that because that was me when I first started as a seller. I needed to know how much I need to fucking sell to be able to make a commission that I needed to look forward to, right? And I would do that at the beginning of the month, and I would check halfway through, and I would do it sometimes throughout, the rest of the month. But I would understand, am I on track? Am I not? Like, where am I at? What is my potential to be able to make at the end of the month? Not counting chargebacks, okay? I would give myself a little bit of room, but it's like, okay, this is where I need to hit. On this pace, if I don't pick it up, this is what I'm going to lose. Your people don't know how to do that. And it's not their fault because it's not something they've been trained on. Not everybody understands how to do that on their own. And that's where you have to come in as a leader and give them some guidance. And sometimes it means creating these tools to be able to use that eventually the company will end up utilizing on their own. And you're going to see a bigger difference, a bigger change within the organization. But it starts by doing small little things. The most important, especially in sales, guys, your team needs to understand how they're getting compensated. They need to understand what their potential to be able to make at the end of the month is. If they don't understand that, the targets you're setting, it doesn't mean anything to them. It's just a pie in the sky number as far as they're concerned. Okay? Because they don't truly understand how it affects them personally. Once they understand how it affects them personally, then you get that aha moment like, oh, I'm missing out this much because I'm being lazy about it. And they're going to have those moments. They may not say it out loud to you, but they're going to have those moments of aha. And it's like, okay, I need to kind of kick it into gear. I can do this. I got to kick it into gear a little bit more to be able to get that because it's not an outlandish goal. I've already been doing this. So to ramp it up to be able to get to that is within my potential. It's what I can do. And the traffic is there. The events I can put together are there to be able to get more opportunities. It is there. My client list, my callback list, my prospect list, whatever you guys have is there. Let me work on really getting after it to get this to, actually push forward, to be able to hit my goals. And then you start to see that pressure kind of alleviate. And then it goes from bad selling to now they're selling stuff that sticks because they understand, hey, right? Like I always tell my customers, my goal isn't to sell you because that doesn't mean anything. Because if I sold you something and you end up canceling it, returning it, it doesn't mean anything to me because I'm not getting paid, right? I don't shy away from telling people that I get paid on commission, that I get bonuses for selling what they're buying. And your people shouldn't be afraid of that. Your people shouldn't be shying away from, hey, I get compensated on commission for helping you. I get, bonuses for selling this to you. Okay? They shouldn't because it's part of the transaction. Your customers, your clients already know you're getting compensated something for this transaction. Be upfront about it. Don't be like, oh yeah, we don't get paid for this. Let them know, yeah, I get compensated for this, right? But my biggest thing is to make sure that what you're getting, you're going to stick with and fits your needs. Because if it doesn't and you cancel it, you return it, I'm not getting paid for it. So it's in my best interest to make sure I'm working with you to get what you need taken care of. Because I want you to come back. I want you to refer people. I want you to keep the product. I want you to keep the services that you're buying. That's where I get compensated. And sometimes people forget to do that. People shy away and they think it's a bad thing that, they're getting paid on commission. They're getting paid a bonus. They're getting paid anything extra to, help sell a customer, help a customer, find their solutions to the issues or problems that they have that they're trying to solve. And it's not. But that little focus on the pay plan is going to help so much to alleviate that pressure so that you go from bad selling to really good selling. It's a step in the right direction, and that is going to work so well for you. Okay. And then it's also going to help with coverage because when people start understanding how they get paid and then the potential that they have to be able to make, they start to perform better. And then that means that they're going to stay around longer. And when they stay around longer, their skill level dramatically increases. And then they really become better at what they're doing after that first year. And you don't have to worry about, oh shit, I've lost so many people now. I have this burn and churn. And I have to constantly keep training and hiring people. And I'm just constantly have a revolving door on the back end. That is how you solve those issues. One simple little thing that you can do that makes a huge difference on the trajectory of not just you, but the organization that you're working with. So take it to heart. I don't care if you work for, a larger company or if, you're the owner and you're, an owner operator that works in the business. This small thing is going to go a long way in actually getting your team to become better at what they're doing. And more importantly, reducing employee churn It's never going to be zero, but it's going to help reduce it dramatically, which means people are going to stay longer, which means that tribal knowledge that they have, the training is only going to compound. And eventually they can pass it on to others. But individually, they're going to increase their performance month over month over month, and then hopefully year over year. So, guys, I want to say thanks again for stepping into another episode here at the Sales Manager Academy podcast. Don't forget, hit that like, follow button, right? Let me know what you guys' thoughts are, and I'll catch you on another episode.